what is your experience with the way diet nutrition interplays with spirituality?
I think once people realize that the spiritual path is being human, because that's where we are right now and that's the incarnation that we're in, they accept that you should take care of this vessel and that this is what's carrying your soul around. And when you feel good, your mind, the mind and the body are one and the same. They're connected. I truly believe that. I believe that every element is connected to the mind and vice versa. So when they realize that, they go hand in hand. You can't ascend or, be on this spiritual path and try to have these realizations and sit with your thoughts and sit down to meditate and ponder if your mind and your body feel like shit. You gotta feel good.
Absolutely. What are some other big pieces of that puzzle for you, integrating the body, mind, and spirit with the aim of feeling good and self-actualizing?
That's a good question. That's a deep question. I After I started these businesses, and when I dropped out of school when I was in San Diego and then had a clothing business as well, I put that on pause to do my yoga teacher training, which is kind of what I've carried into. Let me see. There's a car going. Oh, wait a second. But yeah, so I did my yoga teacher training, and that was the main drive for that was, of course, like the physical yoga that I had loved and been doing for a few years prior to wanting to do my training. But most of it stemmed from like being curious about yoga philosophy and yogic philosophy. And so for me, integrating those spiritual practices of meditation and breath work and yoga asana is a very huge component for me when it comes to balancing that with the way that I eat and the way that I show up in business and all of the other things.
Beautiful. It's interesting. Yoga to me has been fascinating because there seems to be so many forms and styles, and it almost seems like it's been somewhat commercialized or even to a degree bastardized by the West, the way it's presented. What's your experience like with it, having gone deeper into the practice?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely changed over time. But just like going back in our previous conversation, it's like of people, once they realize that you got to take care of the physical, it's like you can't fight the external world. So I don't have control over the way that the West has made yoga into what it is. So, you just have to flow with it instead of fighting the external world. And it's one of those things where it is what it is, and you can take your personal practice as deep as you take your practice and, learn from the origins of yoga and study the Eastern way of things and read the ancient spiritual yoga texts, which I dive into. And yeah, it kind of depends your intention for the practice. Like, where are your why? Why are you doing the practice? Why do you want to teach the practice? And for me, it's because it could change people's lives, truly. When you create space in the body through asana, you're creating space in the mind, then it can be a beautiful, beautiful practice.